Holy crap, it is hot as ass outside. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of SHARKNEWZ Live, as we are going to be talking about week 3 for GIJOE YOJOEJUNE, whatever. And then, what else? Here in the East Coast, it's been roughly about, I think we reached maximum 102 degrees, which maybe to some other states might be chump change, but for us, holy moly, it has been quite monstrous out there. So I thought that was pretty cool, in the sense of, I'm not complaining that it's hot, because the hot weather always reminds me of golden summers back in the day of Blockbuster in the late 80s, early 90s. And I just remember when school would be over and then my parents would be like, you know what, we're because it's nice weather outside, let's take the family to Blockbuster. And then it would be like the weekend and we would just rent like all these random movies like Mortal Kombat, Small Soldiers, Jurassic Park, anything that was just very fun for us. So how is everybody doing today? And Russell Terrell makes a very good, valid comment, because he says Shark is going to take 10 minutes reading all of this at the beginning before he starts the actual show. You are 100% right. I will be reading everyone's chat. So we have some Ferris Bueller references, which Ferris Bueller is one of my favorite John Hughes movies, so I absolutely love it. But Russell Terrell is eating a hot dog while waiting for a shark bite, lol. Welcome Antonio, Mr. Samson, 49er, Alan, Robert. We have Vulture. We have Title Manashir, Derek, Joshua, what's going on, brother? Jaws turns 50. That's crazy. I mean, you know what? I try to, I know Jaws is a very popular movie, and I don't deny it. When I recently watched Jaws, which was probably like a month or two ago, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but that movie takes a long time for any climax to build up. And I found myself bored a lot of times in the movie, but it's still a great movie. It's just, it takes forever for like the anticipation of a build-up, but it's still fine. Joshua says, I heard the videos on the Joe Comics was always the plan last week. Timothy James, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining. Miss, what's up? We have Walker Collector and Roland Mack. We got so many legends here on the chat. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Let me see here. So let's read some of the more well, I don't want to say interesting, but more of the ones that has to do with topics, because Russell Terrell doesn't want me to read everyone's comments. But he does state that he read somewhere that G.I. Joe is a Hasbro brand. That is correct. And YOJOEJUNE is all about G.I. Joe in all forms of media and merch, but honestly, they dropped the ball unless there is going to be a huge day tomorrow. So you are 100% right in the sense that G.I. Joe is YOJOEJUNE should be a dedicated month for all media and merch, etc., etc. The reason why, and I'm speaking on me personally, not for other collectors, but the reason why I usually get disappointed for YOJOEJUNE is not because of them showcasing comics or the fact that there's they don't have like the passion for G.I. Joe to say, but it's mostly, for me, it's like, okay, all we have in the form of G.I. Joe is really just the comics, the Skybound comics, right? Merch will always be merch, but you can't really do a whole stream based on here's our new Cobra logo t-shirt. because that would just be weird. Like, you can implement that in the segment, but it shouldn't be an entire stream. So give and take, sure, I'll let the stream last week slide because, you know, there are fans of the comics out there, which is totally cool. However, other than the comics, G.I. Joe fans don't have any movies to enjoy. We don't have any animated series to have fun with. The G.I. Joe team only shares like random stuff with anniversaries, as in like the Legacy series or the 30th or the 60th anniversary figures. And then, you know, we don't have any special appearances by like Larry Hama or Sergeant Slaughter, and we don't have necessarily like they don't take advantage of the month, as in like give us collectors who are also new, you know, some deep dives about G.I. Joe, give us some cool facts, give us some cool like show us like prototypes of older figures, show us like the history of some type of G.I. Joe segment that that collectors like us would probably enjoy. You know, like dive back into the O-rings, show us what is the inspiration behind the old O-rings to Classified, and then I don't know, it's just random stuff like that. So I personally think that they should easily take advantage of the whole month and give us bits and pieces of this kind of like Joe love. But because we don't have any of that stuff, collectors heavily rely on the action figures, which is what I really love collecting. And if they're not revealing, even if the names are just names and they're not revealed or released till like next year, at least they're names we can look forward to. At least the digital renders will keep us on our toes to be like, okay, like this gives them time to listen to feedback if they ever do, to be like, okay, if this figure sucks, we saw that the outrage, we will go back and, you know, try to fix it. Or they could reveal like a brand new pre-order that we didn't even see coming, like Budo, you know, stuff like that, which can always be exciting because that's what makes Classified fun, because when they do like random drops like that. Otherwise, that's my take on why, like I said, there's nothing to be excited for in the sense of other medias for G.I. Joe, because again, we have no movies, no cartoons, no nothing. And I'm not saying that other brands shouldn't be getting live streams either, because, you know, there's more other collectors like Star Wars and Ghostbusters, Marvel Legends, and Transformers. But when you have already like 11 months dedicated to those other brands, if you're calling it YoJoJune, at least, and I get it that this is their form of employment, etc., but if it's YoJoJune, at least vamp it up a bit and kind of give us like something worthwhile to celebrate like what G.I. Joe is the entire month. And then that way we can tone it down by San Diego Comic-Con, and then we got PulseCon, etc. But if you're calling it entirely YoJoJune, but you're not really offering much, then I find that a complete issue, but it is what it is. Alright, anyways, that's enough of that crap. Let's see. Russell says 100 degrees with 100% humidity in Houston, Texas. We have, what do we have here in the chat? We have Tim Cass, what's up, says, sorry about your last, oh, he's talking about Russell. Vulture says, such a letdown month. I agree. Tim says, in my views, Hasbro had no month of June. Well, I mean, they started off the first week they started off fine, because it's always the first week is like the introduction to the Joes. So I always let the first week go at ease, because there's 3 other weeks to kind of enjoy the brand. But when you have one canceled stream and then you have another stream talking about just the comics, and then tomorrow we'll most likely get a HASLAB Rattler unboxing, and then they'll probably name drop the next HASLAB, because if you remember from last year, they announced something, and then at the same time they were also they did a huge reveal of the Rattler at San Diego Comic-Con. So we can definitely, I don't expect probably too much of them to do like a complete like a rundown of the next HasLab tomorrow, but I do expect that during San Diego Comic-Con they will do a cool display with the new HasLab, and then from there they will include the tiers and like how they did last year with the Rattler, because in July that was when they had the whole Rattler you know, tiers, the unlockables, and the whole panel, etc., etc. So I really don't think that they're gonna give us anything too crazy tomorrow other than just the name drop and maybe a photo perhaps if they want to of the next HasLab. Tim says, I think the police officer should have been renamed as a security checkpoint guard. I mean, you can really name it or rename it anything you want, but because of the way it's designed and the concept of that figure, I think it's still going to trigger and not do so well with whatever is happening out there in the world. James Oliver, welcome. He says, how do we know that some of the Joe team was part of the layoffs could have caused ripples and setbacks? The fact we haven't heard anything is very odd from them. So what James Oliver is mentioning, for those guys who don't know, about a few days before the actual fan stream, or the supposed cancel fan stream, Hasbro had laid off about 130 employees, which was very troubling because, you know, we're in a very tough time these days, and, you know, layoffs are happening, especially for Hasbro. So that could be a very possible scenario, but, you know, a lot of people were mentioning in the comments that they had technical issues, etc., but, you know, who really knows what the real scenario is. And again, you know, he's stating that it is a very odd of them to not, you know, give us, or that we haven't heard anything from them, which is very true, because I think as collectors who give them our money in terms of buying the figures and, you know, creating the momentum for the HasLab, etc., they should at least be very transparent, or somehow be transparent with us and let us know like what the hell is really going on, or not really, but, you know, give us some kind of insight of keep us updated, but unfortunately they're not really doing that. What's up? Cobra for Life says, Hasbro's jerks us. We are so loyal to them. They have canceled at the last minute. Big shout out to you, Shark. Thank you so much, Cobra for Life. I really do appreciate that. Very nice of you for sharing that comment. But thank you for so much for supporting the channel as well, Cobra for Life. Robot War says, yo Shark. The Nerd Alert, welcome to the chat. Holonet, welcome. The unannounced HasLab will be shown at SDCC. Well, meaning that they're going to be, they're going to announce it tomorrow, most likely. They're going to announce, unless they do like a HasLab Rattler. I mean, they most likely will do a HasLab Rattler unboxing tomorrow, like they did with the HasLab Dragonfly last year. But in terms of what it really looks like physically, I'm pretty sure that they might just have a display at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, if they decide to really switch things up to make up for lost time, they could really just, you know, take out the actual prototype of the HasLab. That would be really, really great. Otherwise, if not, then, you know, I wouldn't be really too surprised. Roland Max says the stream is buffering. Everything looks good on my end, at least. What did Joshua get? Oh yeah, Joshua says dial tone. He's opening up his classified dial tone. Yes, dial tone is shipping out to many collectors in the past day or two, so that's actually pretty cool. Let's see here. Okay. Still wanting my dream HasLab to become reality, the USS flag. And Zoran wants an airtight. That's true. Alright, so let's start the official portion of the stream by looking at the leaks and the prototypes and next wave, or whatever the hell it is. So as of right now, of this live stream, we don't really have much to go off with. And if you guys have been keeping up with the channel and keeping up with my videos of doing all the updates and every time a figure goes up for pre-order, etc., etc., as of name onlys and confirmed, we only have Desert Scorpion and the Steel Core SENTRY figure, which was announced last or 2 weeks ago. And then for the upcoming listings, we still have Wetsuit Flash, Night Viper, and Sci-Fi. According to Toy News Eye, he stated or speculated that we were supposed to see a render reveals. We probably should have seen render reveals for Wetsuit Flash and Night Viper or Sci-Fi. Unfortunately, with us being in the last week of YOJOEJUNE, we haven't seen anything, so that completely sucks. But Desert Scorpion will be a pretty cool figure because for those who own the original Desert Scorpion knows that this figure comes with an actual scorpion. It's supposed to be like a giant scorpion, so I forgot who mentioned it in the comments last live stream, but they stated that it would be really cool if they did like a giant robotic scorpion, because a real life giant scorpion wouldn't really make sense. But yeah, I approve of that. So yeah, I mean, the GI Joe team has practically knocked off a lot of figures for pre-orders, knocked off a lot of the renders, and knocked off a lot of the roughly the coming soon. So as I mentioned in my SHARKNEWZ video, they caught up really fast, and the lack of name onlys, and because the listings are really just, they're unofficially confirmed, even though the listings mean like they have, the code names have been deciphered to be these figures. But yeah, I mean, again, we don't know when the Steel Core SENTRY or Desert Scorpion will be here, but the other figures are still to be determined at this point. Carlos Castillo, welcome to the chat, says my dial tone came in today. Awesome, congratulations. Reg325 says I received my dial tone in heavy duty. Congratulations. Beginner Gunner says I don't think they will give us an explanation. I agree. I believe they will carry on like there was no hiccups. That's true. No, you're absolutely right. Tim Cass says, do you know what time the HASLAB live stream will be tomorrow? I definitely don't think there's a live stream, because they usually post that there's going to be a live stream in the sense of like the graphics that says like, you know, tune in, etc. on this day for a fan stream event. But since it's already Tuesday, we don't have any graphics or marketing for the live stream, so chances are they might just upload a pre-recorded video of whatever the hell it's going to be, and I'm assuming it'll be anywhere from 11 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern, anywhere around that time. I'm assuming it's still probably going to be 11, but if they change anything, I guess I wouldn't be too surprised, but it seems likely that that's going to happen. George Rodriguez, welcome to the chat. I think this is your first time here. Says, just got dial tone. He looks great. Can't wait to see the new HASLAB. Great work, Shark. Thank you so much, George. I appreciate the nice comment. Enjoy your dial tone. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see the new HASLAB as well. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with that one. Joshua says, I'm really worried about is my Walmart crystal ball. Damn. Let's see here. Vulture says, where's Mainframe? Oh man, I'm excited for Mainframe. I hope Mainframe comes at some point, but like that's one of my favorite characters, so hopefully he does come somewhere. Let's see here. Question is, says Tim Cass, the defense post will look like the Cobra 1986 listening post. You know, there's a photo on Google that I looked up for the defense post, and I don't know if they're gonna go exactly based off of that particular photo. That's why I'm kind of holding off on using that as an example, but hopefully I really do want to keep myself surprised for the defense post and kind of see if it aligns with the because it is a steel core and it's not like a Cobra figure, so this should definitely be a great diorama building for those that got the Trench Viper and the porta potties. So we'll see how that one goes. Vulture says, I received a dial tone and heavy duty, but whereas Trench Vipers, honestly, man, I have no clue. But the upside is at least dial tone and heavy duty are shipping, even though it's been like a whole year and a half later. So that's good, but otherwise, at least, you know, some patience is needed. Trench Vipers, I don't know. Again, the only way other YouTubers are getting their figures so much ahead of time is, you know, they have connections internationally, or they're just paying a buttload of money in order to get their figures first, you know, to gain views, which is fine. And then you have, I guess, AliExpress that probably has like figures already there in the other countries, but probably they're just having a hard time getting it from there to the actual US ports. So that's my best bet. But Joshua says, Target actually had Footloose and Frag Vipers on pegs, but I passed due to having them ordered short on cash. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. For those that have not received any figures just yet, I haven't checked my targets personally, but I have seen a lot of photos of people finding Frag Viper, Blowtorch, Retro Dr. Mindbender, Rock and Roll, and Retro Rock and Roll, and I forgot the other two figures, Footloose, and them on Target pegs. So I thought that was pretty cool. So you might want to try your luck and see if that's going to work. Oh, Darklon too. Forgot about him. Russell Terrell says, give me Flash. Hopefully. Vulture says, finish the OG 13. I don't think that's going to be possible anytime soon. We mentioned this many times on the stream. The OG 13 will definitely be spread out for the next couple of years, as we have like 4 or 5 figures left. So they've already knocked out a good batch of the 13, so the last remaining like 4 or 5 figures definitely will take some time. Let's see, my Frag Vipers are on the way, says Chris Yule. Shout out to Chris Yule, sorry I forgot to mention your name earlier. Joshua says, are you going for the Retro Mindbender since you were asking for that cape? Unfortunately not, because I was very thankful and blessed to have one of my subscribers from the previous channel send me the exclusive Dr. Mindbender as a subscriber gift. So because of that, I don't want to feel that figure is less important than getting a retro one. So I want to keep that figure as a memento of their, you know, kind gesture for that gift. So I don't want to like overshadow it with, because of the other one that has a simple logo on the cape. Unless I find it on eBay, like a cape, the actual cape, I'll probably just buy it that way, but I pretty much won't double dip on the Mindbender figure. Derek Holloman says, Dial Tone Big Bad Toy Store says October, and we still don't know what the shipping, because I think these are pre-tariff shipping prices too, so we have to wait and see on that one. Antonio says, I just pulled Dr. Mindbender, Rock and Roll, and Footloose from Target today. Nice. I still gotta check my Target, see what's happening with that. Alan says, I have to put a pause on buying from GameStop. They preemptively raised all the prices on some existing figures and still haven't put anything new out. The thing about GameStop is I've seen some GameStops in my area. They actually do stock some of them pretty well with new classified figures. It's just they, like you said, they are raising their prices, and it's just unfortunate that, you know, a store like GameStop that should be making good money is, you know, they're just kind of getting a little greedy and raising prices, which is very stupid. So they should probably do it better that way and not raise prices, because they would sell more figures to collectors who really want it. Robert Wantland says, let's hit that like button, gang. Oh, thanks for reminding me. Okay, for tonight's stream, let's say right now we're at 29 likes. Okay, now we're at 30 likes. let's see if we can hit, let's hit 55 likes for tonight's stream. If we can do that, that'd be great. Because right now I see we're at 30. If we can hit 55, that'd be awesome for tonight's goal. So let's see if we can do 55 today. Alan says 70. I think 70 might be pushing it. I think 50 is always like a really good number for me. But if we can hit more than 55 by the end of the stream, that'd be great. But I'll definitely let the stream goal tonight be 55. Standard classified still $25 at Target. I think so. Nerd Alert says hit that like button. Yes, please do. All right, so let's move on anyway, because there's really not much to see here in terms of name onlys and leaks and prototypes. So I guess whenever they reveal brand new names, we will update this list. But for now, this is pretty much all we have to work with, which is pretty disappointing to say, but at least I'm happy in the extent that we've got rid of a lot of the names off the list, because sometimes it gets too overwhelming when there's like a lot of figures, even if it's just pre-orders, but at least we've got some out of the way in the pre-ordering process, so that'd be cool. All right, so now let's talk about the latest render reveals, which happened last week during the not so fan stream, but the Skybound comic video where Lenny casually dropped the Beachhead and Quickkick 2-pack from Nightforce. So I'll just share my quick thoughts on these, and then I'll let you guys in the comments take over. But so we recently saw these two figures already revealed during Toy Fair, which was back in like February or March, I don't remember. And as I mentioned in the SHARKNEWZ video, the figures in person, or at least in the photos, they look a lot better than the actual renders. The renders don't necessarily do these figures justice, but the only reason why this is at least a pretty decent set for me is because I really like Nightforce. I love, or I don't say I love, but I love the color scheme of Nightforce, and I think that's probably one of Classified's best sub-teams. So adding more Nightforce style characters would make, you know, the team look a lot better. But otherwise, again, it's one of those things where you're gonna have to wait and see in person how these figures look, because I do think they look better in person or in the actual figure itself. But for now, I think Quickkick is using Lowlight's lower half for the legs. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've seen those legs on Lowlight. So when I saw that, I was immediately kind of not too thrilled, but I was like, whatever. But Quickkick does come with that kabuki mask, and all these other extra weapons and accessories, and the standard like weapons. No, I don't see any fudgy bar, which sucks, but I kind of wished that Quickkick's facial expression for the alternate head would be a little bit better, because both those head sculpts are roughly the same, where one is really just, you know, one is really just him with his pouty lips, and the other one is more of a standard face. So, and of course the mask we've seen before in the, what was it, the Blue Ninjas 2-pack, therefore it's really nothing new. So a lot of reuse, except I think Beachhead has obviously like a new plaid shirt style checkered design outfit, but I'm sure there's a lot of reuses there. So Antonio says meh, Robert says pass, Vil the Great says I already have a Quickkick and Beachhead, so pass. Tim says I have never seen the mask on Quickkick. This is I don't know if it's pays an homage to an issue in the comics, like in the later runs, but you know, the G.I. Joe team does like to do something a little bit more fancier with updating the figures. So sometimes some figures will come with like an alternate mask or a head to kind of give it like a cool, you know, like a bonus addition to it, or it's just their way of saying, oh, because we were adding all these additional heads, we're gonna raise the price or make it like a deluxe 2-pack or something like that. Who knows? Antonio says, I am in on the sublines. Joshua says, the scars are an homage to Bruce Lee's final fight in Enter the Dragon. Oh, that's awesome. Enter the Dragon is such a freaking great movie. Can't wait to talk about that on the Retro Shark. Vulture says, Pythona, Globulus, and Royal Guard. Very well additions to the classified line. I'm very nervous to see how they're gonna pull off Globulus, because as we mentioned in previous live streams, that Globulus is such a big beefy dude with a tail or whatever, and you know, he has like his pod that he floats around in. Therefore Hasbro should not make it like a skinny figure, or I don't know how they're going to articulate his tail, so they need to really do something about that. Hopefully they don't like skimp out on it and like put legs on him and be like, oh, you know, this is a new Globulus with legs. I don't want to see that shit. Holonet says, I lost 4 GameStops. I think there's still 4 more in my area. Haven't been to 3 of them in a while, although I need to go soon and use my monthly $5 bonus. Yeah, all the GameStops in my malls have closed down, so I only have at the moment 1 local GameStop, and then the next GameStop from my house is about a 35-40 minute drive, I think. So that sucks. Alan says, I'm starting to dig the Nightforce. Yeah, I mean, again, the Nightforce is one of those sub-teams where you really have to put them all together to see how they'll look like. And I'm not trying to sell these figures to you guys in the sense of, like, you have to get it, but I'm saying, like, kind of go to histank.com, look at the photos from Toy Fair, and you'll see, like, how decent they actually look compared to the renders on this stream here. Russell Terrell says, who else will get an M249 saw from Gridiron Studios to put in hands of this Quickkick? Yeah, Gridirons is doing some pretty cool stuff. I'll give him credit for that. Robert says, I was tricked into the Nightforce because I would have passed on all of them. I'm assuming you were tricked into the Nightforce because possibly the Dragonfly? Maybe? I don't know. Nerd Alert says, he still doesn't look right to me on the head portrait. Vulture says, the renders look like plastic. I mean, still better than nothing. The Beginner Gunner says, Beachhead looks like a game of Tetris. Title Manager says, I like Nightforce, I'm in. 49er says, I'm getting this. Rachel, welcome to the chat, says, Lenny said the mask is supposed to have been stolen from a blue ninja. Ooh. Okay, so we got some story building there. See, that's what I want to see in Classified. I want to see in the back of the packaging, even if they're not giving us like traditional bios, at least give us a story, and that will help us world build these figures. Like how Rachel said, as Lenny mentioned, that the mask is supposed to have been stolen from a blue ninja. For someone like a casual collector, we can be like, oh, we've seen this mask before, it's from the Blue Ninja 2-pack, whatever, that's just Hasbro being greedy, which I previously said, and hilariously. But with Rachel now telling me that was Lenny's intention to put the mask, that offers really good story building, and that's what I want to see. If I had read that in the back of the package, I would have been like, oh, so technically Quickkick initially had the mask first, but the Blue Ninja stole it and kind of made their own version. So that kind of adds like a lot more world building for Classified, and that's something that I've always wanted to read about, but they're not really doing it. So but thank you, Rachel, for that cool information. Samuel Barnhart, welcome to the chat. All good, brother. I'm glad you're able to make it. Alan says, where's Alan? I missed it. Shoot. Alan says that red beret on Beachhead's shoulder makes him an easy target for a sniper. Yeah, at least that is more subtle compared to the red beret that the Cobra Island version had. Miss says, I can't wait to pick these up on clearance just like the Falcon and Coral. Well, Miss is really not wrong too. The Falcon and Coral 2-pack did go up for sale on Walmart's website. I think the prices went down by like $20 or $25 like a few months later. So I'm not saying that you should wait for the clearance if you don't want to, but there's a very high chance that they will go on clearance like all the other figures do. Where is it? Robert says Big Ben and Wolf Spider got me. Oh, okay, Big Ben. I mean, Wolf Spider's a really awesome figure. I like that one. Nerd Alert says sick of the masks. To make a good quick kick that we want Beachhead on the fence. That outfit, not sure. I mean, even if you don't like it, you can possibly kit bash these figures too. So I think that could be a good intention. Welcome Real Zim to the chat says I like them, but hope that the Beachhead shirt is a darker green like the render and not the one shown a few months ago. I mean, maybe it's just the light. It could be darker because the lighting was probably different from Toy Fair, but you might want to check it out on his Tank's website. Tagworm says, oh my god, they have to make Pythona extremely sexy. If you're looking for cleavage on Pythona, probably not going to happen. Joshua says, you're right about Lowlight's legs. I can see the calves past mine from here. Yeah, you see like those brown brown horizontal textures on the shins of Quickkick is that just reminded me of Lowlight, so I guess Joshua is confirming that. Alan says, after getting the Nemesis Immortal last year from Comic-Con, I thought for sure this year was the year of Globulus. I mean, it still can be, because even though that the you have to remember, if Comic-Con is solely for the Cold Slither 4-pack, we still have PulseCon. PulseCon can be the big enchilada for Nemesis or for Globulus, or we could still have what's his name, Hasbro's 1027 event, which is in October. That's like the last event for GI Joe Classified before the year ends, and they could kill us all with the Globulus. So it's possible. Welcome Craig N to the chat with the shark emojis. Also, shout out to everybody who gave me the shark emojis earlier in the chat. I appreciate that. Green Jedi Master, freaking love your name. I think they said the mask was something Quickkick picked up from a Blue Ninja, repainted it for shock value. I plan on getting it. Oh, okay. So the Blue Ninjas had the mask first and Quickkick stole it. Okay. Even if that's the case, at least that would have been good story building in general. I mean, come on. Like, again, wouldn't you guys... I mean, I don't know if a lot of you would prefer it, but wouldn't it be really cool... Let's say you find this 2-pack at Walmart, if they, stock or whatever. If you see this 2-pack at Walmart and you turn the box around, aside from just having a stupid map of nonsense, or just like the renders of the figures and all the accessories it comes with, or like those... I mean, you can still have the artwork and stuff, but wouldn't it be cool if it actually had like a bio, like a little square bio saying... Quickkick something, he infiltrated the Blue Ninja headquarters and then stole the mask from the Blue Ninjas and decided to give them a run for their money. Like, if they just had that small little paragraph, I would be like freaking sick. Like, I love it. Robert says they are so good. Nerd Alert says the accessories are trash. Oh shit. In this set, most guns are the cheaper. Grenades suck, can't clip on, very cheap, just being honest after buying many. Hey man, I mean, you have every right to share your opinion, so I think they may have improved a little bit on the gummy weapons, definitely from the Outback and CoverGirl wave and the Dusty wave. Like, those were atrocious with weapons, but I think they may have improved a little bit. Yes, Rachel does have the knowledge. Nerd Alert says, Hasbro, stop with those butter knives. I'm not a knife guy, but those never fit and they look cheap. Vil the Great says, Rachel is the Wikipedia of Classified. I agree. Raj Smooth, welcome to the chat, says, I think they look cool on the Awe Striker. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, if the colors are hopefully roughly in unison, that would be pretty dope. Nerd Alert says, loving the Chinese stars. Effects should have been in the first release. I think they are in the first release. I think they're just colored blue. Because these are the stars are what the effect for the stars are white. I think the Quickkick from the first release has blue effects. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're blue. Holonet says, yeah, I prefer this Quick over the original. And I think some collectors will enjoy this Quickkick or Beachhead. I don't know about Beachhead because we already got the retro one, but you know, some collectors actually prefer because they're very into like the military aspect of G.I. Joe. So when you have like a whole collection of Joes that look all in unison in like the greens and the army style colors and like the camo colors, that's what makes the collection like look pretty cool. Whereas you have other collectors who prefer like the cartoon style where they're all like vibrant and you know, they're all like vibrant, like neon colored and light blue and this and that. Some prefer that, having that, but I think other collectors want more like a strategic outfit, or like a common outfit that most military colors can use. What's going on, Benedict? Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I also want to emphasize the Green Jedi Masters username because I actually love it. I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I know Luke Skywalker used the green lightsaber in the, I think it was the last movie of the old ones, the old trilogy, but it wasn't actually until I saw Qui-Gon Jinn in The Phantom Menace with the green lightsaber that made me fall in love with any Jedi that uses the green lightsaber. And then the more they introduced us to the lore of Star Wars, for you Star Wars fanatics out there, that character that looks like a green squid with the tentacles, I mean, he's also a green lightsaber holder aside from like Yoda and whatever. So yeah, every time I see like a green Jedi, I'm just like, that's freaking badass. Benedict says, you could kit bash a Muskrat figure with this new Quickkick. You could do that too, yeah. Sean R says, sup sharks, I'm late, how's everyone doing? Thank you, Sean R, for joining the chat. Everyone is doing pretty well. We are talking about, as you can see, the Quickkick and Beachhead 2-pack, which is the only render they revealed. Tagworm says, I do the same with the stories. Every time I miss a Joe due to Hasbro shenanigans, I kit bash a figure to replace it. Damn. I mean, if you guys know how to kit bash, more power to you. I completely suck at it, so... Joshua says, sadly, since Hasbro sells a mass market, their accessories have to be gummy to avoid being a choking hazard. Yeah, I can understand that. Derek Holloman says, or Benedict says, Kit Fisto, and Green Jedi Master says Kit Fisto is the Jedi. Okay. Well, so the thing is, like, I know Star Wars characters by face, not necessarily by their names, so I'm trying. Also, shout out to everybody in the stream today, even if you're watching and not in the chat, and those that are in the chat, or if you're just watching in general. We surpassed our goal for tonight, which was 55 likes. We are officially at 64. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it for tuning in for the stream. So thank you for the 64 likes midstream. We surpassed our goal. So congratulations, and thank you guys for all that. You guys are freaking awesome. I appreciate that. Okay. Classified Steve from Minecraft. I don't know what that is. Samuel Barnhart says, I'm kit bashing Quickkick with Budo's other Holy shit. Yeah, dude. Thanks for reminding me. Quickkick with Budo. That could be a very cool tag team match. Quickkick and Budo versus... Quickkick and Budo versus Slice and Dice. Holy shit, that would be a duel for the long run. Also, shout out to Andrew Law. Welcome to the chat. Not only does he give me a nice pink wave, he says, "This is a lazy redo. So much of the OG-13 still undone." Andrew, which figure would you want next? Russell says, if I'm not mistaken, a Jedi cannot pick the color of the saber. Once the Kyber crystal picks that Jedi, it makes its own color blade. Again, I may be wrong. Ooh, even better. Honestly, I would go completely in the dark side. I'd become a Sith. I mean, as much as I love having a green Jedi saber, but I would be a Sith, hands down. Sean R says, yeah. Alan says, like the Staples button, that was easy. Sean R is planning to do the same with calling him Ronin. Ooh. That's actually a pretty cool name, Ronin. Yeah, I approve of that. Villa Great says sci-fi. Alright, so I think that pretty much concludes the renders for the only renders we have so far for classified, which is the Beachhead and Quickkick, because again, Lenny casually throws it in there during that little video, or that video. So I'm sure, so I assume, again, don't quote me on this, but I assume we will see these figures go up for pre-order in July, because that's when Walmart's Collector Con is. Because last year when they revealed other Nightforce characters, the Walmart's Collector Con coincided with San Diego Comic-Con. Therefore, I'm assuming we're going to see this pre-order go up for July. Because I think like the second or third day, or maybe a few days, or maybe it could be a week in advance, that's when we see Walmart's Collector Con post, but I'm pretty sure we'll see this in July. And then we'll come back to these figures again when we have like official product shots, and then we can bid farewell to it. But for now, we will take a look at all the figures that we know of so far, because according to my favorite, Benedict says, I thought you would use a purple lightsaber. I mean, purple is one of my favorite colors. I would love to do it. Andrew Law says Lifeline. Lifeline is a pretty cool character. So according to the final remaining figures that we have within the graphic, this is excluding name only reveals. This is only like digital renders and official product reveals, etc. We still have the Cold Slither 4-pack, and the Cold Slither 4-pack, of course, we know is going to be released in July, so during San Diego Comic-Con. So once we get that 4-pack out of the way, we can eliminate freaking 4 figures, which will be absolutely insane. Because then if we do remove those 4 figures, we will have only the police officer of the Legacy series, and then July probably will have Nightforce, Beachhead, and Quickkick go for pre-order, which technically means we'll probably only have the Legacy series police officer. And if you guys saw my last stream from 2 weeks ago, or the week, 2 weeks ago, I did say that I'm going to remove the HASLAB Rattler figures, because apparently the Rattler is starting to ship. People have checked their FedEx app, and the Rattler is starting to ship. So technically you guys should be getting Hasbro Pulse emails within the next day or 2, maybe 3. For anyone that has gotten their shipping notice for the HASLAB Rattler, that shipped today, which was, what is it, June 24th, it said that the estimated arrival date is Monday, June 30th. So yeah, so technically we should see someone in this GI Joe community get their Rattlers by Monday, the latest. I don't know if they do Sunday deliveries, but definitely Monday for sure. So definitely check out your emails, check your FedEx apps, because I have seen like 2 or 3 people already post their FedEx tracking, and it does say estimated delivery date is Monday, so you definitely want to check that out. What up, Malcolm? What's happening? Thank you so much for joining. I know you said you're a little late, but it's all good, man. All good, no worries. Yeah, I mean, even if you don't have an update, don't stress out or panic. I'm sure you'll get an update within the next day or 2 at most. This is going to be one of those crunch timings for collectors, because I know a lot of you want to get your Rattlers like first, or they just want to have it in general. But we should all get it at some point. So and so yeah, that's why from this graphic that we see here, I've already removed that the 3 HASLAB Rattler figures, because by the next live stream, which I'm going to do in another day or two, I'm going to hopefully include the new render for the upcoming the next HASLAB figures. So that will be another 3 figures to include, renders to include, unless we have to wait for July to see renders. That would suck, but hopefully we get some kind of really cool reveal tomorrow, because that would be exciting. Alan says nothing beats the classic red and white look of Lifeline. I mean, don't forget, Lifeline was also a Tiger Force repaint, or he's also part of the Tiger Force sub team, so you might want to see what's going to happen, because what if they reveal or announce a Tiger Force Lifeline before we get the red version? It's very possible, but they know that fans will be pissed. Let's see here. Marquise Butler, welcome to the chat, says that in the IDW in the IDW GI Joe Cobra and Cobra Files series, there's a new female Joe with a codename Ronin, who also is a samurai clan descendant. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to reread the Marvel's run of GI Joe comics and then eventually get down to the IDW. I do have a lot of IDW comics from Joe's, but not necessarily later ones, but it's mostly from the 2000 era to like 2005-ish. So Zoran says, can't wait to hear all about the corner cutting of Hasbro did defects on the Rattlers. Oh shit. I mean, that's another problem, because people who do get their HASLABs first, just because they get it first doesn't mean it's perfected either. If you guys remember from the Dragonfly, those who got their Dragonfly first, they've had broken pieces. Some of them had missing decal. Some of them had a broken some pieces here and there. It was like a missing something. So, and of course they can't replace anything because they have to do something equal or lesser value. So if you have like a later shipping date or later delivery, chances are you might have, I don't know about better quality, but you might have more of a perfected Rattler compared to those who got theirs first. So I guess we'll see. Vulture says, I just received my Domino's pre-order with my garlic dipping sauce and a delicious cookie. Damn, that sounds really good right now. Zoran says, fun fact, GI Joe Lifeline is basically Switzerland's flag. Oh, nice to know. Alan says, I'll give you $60 for one of your Rattler Baroness's figures unopened, still in the box. Ooh, Macom, Alan is trying to persuade you into a deal. Accept or deny. Sean R says, no Rattler yet. Got Frag Viper. Nice. Everyone else is on the way. Marquise says, I'd rather have the Tiger Force Lifeline. Ooh. Green Jedi says, I've enjoyed reading the 2 series from Image. Oh, I forgot about Image Comics too. Zoran says, I have yet to open my Dragonfly or his tank. Damn. Benedict says, the Dragonfly figures seemed a little gummy compared to the other figures. Surprisingly, my Dragonfly figures were good. I had no issues or complaints. I think my only complaint would have to be that Crazy Legs' face and Ripcord's face was not great. They seemed very pale. They seemed like there was no detail, and for like a $300 but for a $300 HASLAB, I think that's how much it cost. Was it 300 or 270 something? I don't remember. You know, to get skimped out on detail on faces, especially it being a freaking exclusive HASLAB project, that it should be no excuse for the GI Joe team. Malcolm says he's keeping his in box. Holonet says Rattler is coming this month. Yes, shipping notices have been giving out, given out by FedEx, so you might want to check the app. Because knowing Hasbro Pulse, they're gonna send you your email in November about your Rattler shipping when you already received it. So Robert says, I was an inbox collector until the first Sergeant Slaughter in the windowless package, and I opened the hiss first. Damn. I mean, yeah, the packages do take up a lot of space though. Benedict says, it was lame that Lenny was spoiling many key points in the Energon Universe comic. I have no clue what's happening in those comics right now, but yeah. All right. So now for the main nitty gritty of the stream tonight. Because last week there was really nothing going on, so tonight might be a pretty shorter stream. However, let's talk about the 2025 HASLAB Tees Chill. So we are most likely getting the reveal tomorrow. Now, as I mentioned before, this could either mean just name dropping the actual HASLAB, or they could show us a photo of the HASLAB, or perhaps maybe they'll give us a tease in the sense of maybe one render reveal of a tier or the initial offering. Now, a lot of collectors have already thrown in their consensus and saying that it could be the Snowcat, with Frostbite being the first initial offering for the vehicle. Others are saying that the Snowcat is too small. So it could really, like, I don't know, it can really be anything at this point. But I'm only saying tomorrow because I think there's another Hasbro fan stream of another brand on Thursday, which basically means they're not going to give us anything on Thursday, and then Friday obviously they're not going to do shit, because then by that point it's already the weekend, and then July is already here, because then they got to prepare for San Diego Comic-Con. So Wednesday is really the only day they have left to really wow us collectors. And because if, let's say they post a video like at 11 a.m. Eastern time, right? The videos are usually like 35 to 40 minutes long. So that means they have about half an hour to unbox the Rattler, show off the figures, and really sell those patches. If you guys are watching the video tomorrow, if they happen to release a video tomorrow, let's pay attention to how they're going to market the patches, because last time when they did the Dragonfly, they did like a bird's eye view of the unboxing, and you know, as soon as they open the box, you see like the sticker decals and etc. Now for this particular Rattler, the patches will probably be like in the front, I assume. So I want to see, and I'm probably going to laugh at how they're going to unbox or unpackage those patches, because that is going to make me laugh. But other than that, they have about 30 minutes to really unbox the actual Rattler, put it together, and then go over the figures, etc., etc. Why I'm predicting that if they don't do any Rattler unboxing, I'll be completely and utterly shocked. But if they really focus on the actual HASLAB itself, then we should see something really good. But again, if they have a panel at San Diego Comic-Con, then we can scrap the entire details of the HASLAB, and they'll probably just be like, as for the 2025 HASLAB, the backing will start in July at San Diego Comic-Con, and you'll see the digital render reveals at our panel. And I feel like that's what they're going to end up doing. If I'm wrong, then praise the Lord, hallelujah. Like, it's good to be wrong. As Bob Ross says, we don't make mistakes, just happy accidents. So I really enjoy being proven wrong, because that's the fun part of it. But like I said before, I really hope that because again, you can't just not have a Rattler unboxing and just expect, you know, those figures to just ship out and not have anyone do anything with it during the last YOJOEJUNE event. So whatever the outcome is for that, let's that should be really exciting. Holy shit, I think we reached probably so for everyone that's here in the chat right now, we've actually reached a new milestone on the channel, or at least on the live streams. We officially, I mean, the numbers went down, but we officially reached over 102 viewers on the stream, which is the most I've had on the stream. So that is freaking awesome. Thank you guys. I think having 100 viewers is even more than I can ask for. So I know the numbers are going to go down in about a few seconds, but just seeing that number 102, that's so awesome. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, watching the stream, hitting the like button, and giving 74 likes. Freaking awesome, man. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. All right, let's see what the comments say. Malcolm says, how do I tag people? Just use the @ sign and it should work in the chat. Rachel says, I know it's supposed to be a Joe year, but I'd loved an Arctic Hiss HasLab. I mean, I'm already sweating my ass off in this room, and I can't even imagine sitting in this room at 102 degrees tomorrow and looking at a freaking HasLab that involves snow. Like, I'll pretty much be hallucinating at that point because I'll be sweating buckets regardless if the AC or fans are on. Like, it's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be funny. Benedict says the Thunder Machine seems too small for a HasLab. Andrew says, oh, sorry. Yeah, Andrew says it's going to be a vehicle that shares a lot with the Hiss tank. I mean, that would be funny if they did like a snow tank instead. And it's not even the Snowcat. Joshua says, I'm not knowledgeable on the vehicles. What other snow vehicles could it be? We have the Avalanche. We have the... what was the one? The Polar something something. I'm blanking out right now. Sorry. But if anyone wants to help out Joshua on that one, let him know in the comments. There's really not that many vehicles for snow in particular, at least big enough to be a HasLab, but there's there's a few smaller ones. Battle Ice on Island, says Zoran. Marquis says, I'm predicting an Avalanche as the HasLab since it's an Arctic tank. Yeah, so if you guys go on my other live stream, you'll see that I talked about possibilities of HasLabs, and I did mention the Snowcat and the Avalanche. And although I feel like the Avalanche is a lot bigger and could be more beneficial to be a HasLab because it looks very intense and insane to be a vehicle, I think a Snowcat seems more popular because that figure that vehicle comes with a more popular Joe character, which is Frostbite, and I feel like selling Frostbite as a solo figure, like on the pegs, I'm sure it will sell, but to have it with a HasLab would probably be a lot better. Alan says, I saw in another video where someone showed the OG Snowcat next to an Ostriker, and I can't even get on board with paying $200 to $300 for a Snowcat. I mean, we live in tough times. We'll see how the prices will go. And these are excluding tariff prices too, so who knows what the hell's going to happen. Miss says, I think it's the Snowcat because there's going to have more than 4 figures. I think with all the backlash that they've gotten for... what was it? The backlash they got for the patches, they better what do you call it? They better give us 4 figures this time around. No stinking patches. Rachel says the next HASLAB will reveal a new Joe character codename patches. Jokes. Todd C says maybe they will have the next HASLAB on display at San Diego. Yeah, I mean, they absolutely will. They're just probably going to announce it probably tomorrow with the name. Like, they're probably going to be like, oh, tomorrow's the snow. I mean, we're going to announce the Snowcat, but we're going to have official more information at San Diego Comic-Con. And then they're going to end the stream and then we're all going to get pissed. Praise the Lord as always, Shark. Yes, sir. Hurricane says it will be a vehicle, driver, and 2 figures, bare minimum, probably patches too. I would be more surprised if they give us like a winter hat. You know, those winter hat with the little fuzzy things on the sides. I don't know what you call it with the strings. That would be great. I would love to have a winter hat. Robert says that's great for sure. Tagworm says stop asking for 50 and ask for 100. I don't know. I'm trying to be humble. Russell says they absolutely need to do an unboxing video considering it's going to start shipping probably next week. I mean, it's already starting to ship. A lot of people have already have got, not a lot, but a few already have FedEx shipping notifications that their rattlers have already shipped. Vil says no central AC. The central AC is mostly downstairs. The upstairs, because it's more higher level for some reason, it gets, regardless of the central, it's still freaking boiling up here. It just doesn't do justice, unfortunately. Snowglare says 102, your Joes will melt. Yep. They already are, man. A lot of the O-rings have snapped, I'll tell you that. Malcolm says at. No. You have to put at and then the username of whoever you want to talk to. Todd C says, I'm only worried they go cheap on the white plastic and it yellows. Oh. I mean, for those that have a snow job figure, has your snow job figure done pretty well in terms of its color, or is it still white? Jose Ramon, welcome to the chat, says, so now we're 1 day out and still silence from Hasbro. If they were going to have a stream, we would have known by now. 100%. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, if they were going to do a live stream, they would have announced it like 2 days ago or last week. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pre-recorded video. If not, I would love to be surprised. Russell says, I have so much respect for my ancestors who lived with no AC, just open windows. Yeah, man, AC's, we take it for granted. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the chat. I'm so behind. Okay, it's definitely going to be the Snowcat, says the Toy Odyssey. Welcome. Tagworm says we don't need no stinking avalanche. Damn, shots fired. Zoran says no need for rescue toy makers are BSing saying tooling is expensive. If it wasn't any different in the 80s, look how many toys they made then. Does anybody want to help out with Zoran's comments of saying that making toys back in the 80s is no different than making toys today? Rachel says the Blockbuster is a large Arctic vehicle. Hurricane says Havoc and Snowcat are huge, bigger than the Hiss. Thunder Machine is too big. See, I don't own a Snowcat, but I've read comments of people saying that the Snowcat is not a big vehicle. Like, the Snowcat is really small. So now, but Hurricane is saying the Snowcat is bigger than a Hiss. So, I don't know. Let's see here. Mr. Sampson has joined the chat. Santa Sampson, welcome. Benedict says Frostbite is more popular. It's a more popular figure. I mean, even in general, there's really not that many Arctic characters, because if you look at the previous video that I did, I wrote down the list of Arctic characters, and then obviously Frostbite and Iceberg are two of the biggest ones. But aside from Frostbite, I really don't think that they're going to put Iceberg behind a paywall of a HASLAB. So chances are they might have Wind Chill and maybe, what's the other one's name? Sub-Zero, or maybe a Stalker in his yellow uniform with a white yellow ski mask. It's possible. Scott Mora, welcome to the chat. I think it's your first time here. He says, do you think that Just Chill is a hint that Wind Chill is one of the tiers? I honestly think Wind Chill could and should be one of the tiers, because Wind Chill is one of my favorite Arctic Joes, and he looks pretty badass with his uniform and the skis that he comes with in the original O-ring line. So yeah, that figure does look pretty awesome. And so check out my previous video about the HASLAB Snowcat. I talked about my predictions on what I want as a tier, so I'm going to put Quinn as the rare figure, and then Frostbite, the initial figure offering, and then Wind Chill and Sub-Zero as the 2 other bonus figures. Tagworm says, my nephews destroyed my Mauler and Mobat when I went to the Middle East. I need new ones. Oh shit. How much do those go for now? Robert says it has to be 4 figures. Yes, I think 3 figures would be insulting. It has to be at least 4. Benedict says tier 1 is a Domino's coupon. The real Zim says Wind Chill would make sense as a tier to me. Yeah, unless they actually create like brand new Arctic characters, that could be, but I don't think so. Shit, I'm so behind on the chat. Vil the Great says Iceberg. Zoran says, dare I say next Joe HasLab will be the first to not fund due to Hasbro's cheapness and rearing its ugly head. So Zoran says he's probably betting that this next HasLab will probably not fund 100%. Ooh, all bets are down with Zoran on this one. Trapper Hat says Robert. Mr. Sampson says they will not give us patches after all the backlash. I'm sure someone thought it was a good idea, keeping with the aviation theme, bomber jacket stuff, but no way it happens again. I 100% agree with that one. My snow job is still pristine, says Taito. That's good. Joshua says, isn't the white plastic formula different now? We are going to get snow skiing patches this time around. Hasbro, Rachel says Hasbro will use the excuse to yellow snow as a thing. I don't need help, Shark. Jose says, I have a Rattler coming. I do not need to see it beforehand. Totally ruins the surprise of it. I think, well, I mean, that's valid. Mix Big the Fun Man says, I'd rather have a Mobat or Mauler than a Snowcat. Snow vehicles are not versatile, only designated in cold environments. Yeah, man. I mean, global warming has hit very hard, especially here on the East Coast. Therefore, I barely get snow here. Therefore, for me to fund a HasLab Snowcat and then to take photos of it in green grass is not going to make any sense. I mean, I could put white bed sheets and stuff, but that shit's not going to look appealing whatsoever. Sean R says, I'm down for a Snowcat and Thunder Machine combo. Dreaming is free, that's true. HoloNet says, the Blockbuster is my favorite Joe snow vehicle, although I didn't pull the trigger at a toy show and missed to put on a shot at owning a good condition one. Benedict says Snowcat is bigger than the original Hiss. Oh shit. Alan says Snowcat is not a big vehicle in any sense of the word. It's 2 seats figs and you crowd 2 or more on the back. Total of 8, but again, it's overcrowded. Joshua says Iceberg has more than one version. They could make him a tier and release the retro later. I do know that there is another ice. You're saying Iceberg. Sorry, I was thinking of Stalker. A retro Iceberg. Yeah, I mean, perhaps. I don't deny it, but Russell says some of the Arctic characters needs to be regular releases. HasLabs need to be one-offs like Duke, Scarlet Stalker, Snake Eyes, which is exactly why Quinn would be a very perfect example of a tier because he's super exclusive. And Sub-Zero and Windchill are good enough characters to be tiers, but not necessarily like, you know, Target figures to be on shelves or Walmart. Because Iceberg would definitely be a pretty good figure, or as Marquise was saying, Iceberg and Blizzard, those figures should be standard pre-orders compared to actual HasLabs. Jose says Hasbro won't put any real characters in a lab except the driver, and the only driver we know for the Snowcat is Frostbite. Therefore, that seems probably the most logical one. Benedict says Snowcat is a medium-sized vehicle. Russell says a Dairy Queen Blizzard coupon. Alright. The only reason it won't fund is because it's themed. People like me don't have any snow figures at all. Ooh, that's actually a very valid point. If you're someone that doesn't really collect snow characters or you're not into like that particular theme of G.I. Joe characters, I think you're right, as in the snow vehicle is a bit of a departure, whereas a Mauler or Mobat could be more beneficial, but I think Hasbro is really just trying to milk the amount of vehicles they can before, because as sad as a reality it is, not every vehicle is going to be made. We already know that a Sky Striker and a Night Raven is not possible. Robert says Chill mention is setting up for an Ice Cream Soldier. That would be funny. Adam Torres, welcome to the chat. I think this is your first time here. Says this new HasLab will have a basic and deluxe offer just like Hasbro did with the Ghostbusters HasLab not that long ago. So what Adam is referring to is the Ghostbusters team actually re-released the Proton Pack. And was it the Proton Pack? I think it was. That was once a HasLab, but now they made a standard basic version for general public, which basically means that they could possibly do that for G.I. Joe team and release a non-HasLab his tank, but I don't know. It's very possible though. Benedict says 2.5 months of snow at best here in Ohio. Oh, Benedict, you're lucky you live in Ohio because you guys get massive blizzards. My aunt used to live in Ohio before she moved to Illinois, but she was in Garfield Heights. So when we went to go visit there, there was a massive snowstorms, and I loved how freaking Ohio just gets really good snow. And also in Ohio, there's really awesome toy stores. You have like Adams toys and collectibles, and then you have the toy something that's, I don't know what the location is. It's kind of a far drive where I lived from Garfield Heights, but and then there was another one called Applejack's Toys. That was a really cool store, so I miss going there. Ever since she moved, like I don't see those stores anymore. Because Illinois sucks when it comes to having toy stores. I don't see much. I avoid white plastic as much as possible because they are inevitably going to yellow as it ages, says Migs Biggs. That's, yeah. I love the snow stuff, says Joshua. I don't care if I don't Dusty next to Torpedo and Snow Job. It's all fantasy anyway. That's true too. Oh, Adam 1 says it's the Ecto 1 with figures. Alright. My Snow Job is still white as snow. Welcome Cinder Ganesan to the chat. It's good to have you, brother. Lawrence Wheatzel, welcome to the chat. I think this is your first time here, but you retracted the message, so now I don't know what the heck you said. Tagworm says, I say Silverhawk Ironheart as a HasLab figure. Sunder says, shark emojis, glad I can join. Marquis says, you're welcome. What happened? the Cantina. All right. So, I mean, let's do a quick little recap, because now that we're entering YoJoe, we have, again, let's go back to the render portion. We have the Cold Slither 4-pack, which is 100% confirmed for July. And then you have the Legacy Series Police Officer, which is somewhere in the mythos of collecting. Then we have the Nightforce Quickkick and Beachhead 2-pack, which will most likely be a July pre-order for Walmart's CollectorCon. And then alongside those, we still have the Desert Scorpion and then the Steel Core Sentry. And then we still need to see render reveals for Wetsuit Flash, Night Viper, and Sci-Fi. So by recapping the figures that went up for pre-order, we have the Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer 2-pack. We had Hawk with the MMS. We had the 2 retro green shirt and bat figures. And then we had, I don't remember what the other ones were, but so at least they kind of, oh, and the Awe Striker as well, crankcase. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I feel like YoJoEJUNE was such a lackluster, regardless of whatever their scenarios is in terms of what's happening internally within Hasbro and whatever's going on in the world right now. I already talked about my thoughts about what they should have done prior for YoJoEJUNE, but since we are pretty much done, it looks like now all we have to look forward to in the future is the 4 days of San Diego Comic-Con, and then we have Hasbro's 10/27 event in October. We have, I think, 2 Walmart Collector Cons, and then we have the there's a fly that just came in here. We have the Manchester Comic-Con as well. So I think there's like a giant ass bug that just came in the room. Yeah, well, the heat's gonna kill it. Andrew says, "Yo, no, JoEJUNE. I might be in Desert Scorpion, even though he was way past my Joe days." Honestly, I think Desert Scorpion's gonna be a really, really awesome character. I mean, if you own the O-Ring, you'll know like he has similar designs to the version 4 Snake Eyes. However, the fact that not only my only complaints about Desert Scorpion is they're not going to give him a cloth back piece, because they didn't do that with Dusty or Nunchuck, which sucks. And then with that nonsense, then Desert Scorpion comes with a pet scorpion, which should be like a giant robotic scorpion compared to the actual like normal size scorpion. So yeah. Delpho Nito, welcome to the chat, says, "Hello my friend Shark, I think it's all a prank and we won't have any HasLab snow vehicles, but maybe a snow vehicle, the regular line." Damn, that's crazy. Well, if it is a prank, that would be disastrous. But you know, they already did announce we are getting a HasLab reveal by the end of YoJoEJUNE. So technically, we are in the last week. We're officially heading into Wednesday. We're not going to have anything Thursday or Friday. At least I don't think so. Therefore, Wednesday is really our last best shot, because they've been doing streams and videos every Wednesday. So that's the only time frame we have. Vild says the screen keeps going black. I don't know what else. I don't know why. Everything looks fine on my end. Andrew says Desert Scorpion Deluxe would be nice. That's true. Well, yeah. so you kind of imagine like like Transformers, like Scorponok character, but like a robotic scorpion would be sick. Nerd Alert says wetsuit is hopeful, wetsuit is fire, he should be an easy layup. Very true. HoloNet says YoJoeJUNE. But so other than that, I will say that I am going to go live again later this week to talk about the sorry to talk about tomorrow's whatever the hell reveals that we have. So before I conclude tonight's stream, what the hell just happened? Okay. Before I conclude tonight's stream, we will have a SHARKNEWZ video tomorrow, and then we will have another live stream later in the week. I'm not sure what day. Just look for the thumbnail and you'll see it. And then hopefully we will enter in YoJoe with Comic-Con, and then we'll see what happens from there. Yes, I do agree. The 3 weeks have been very lackluster, but it is what it is. So now we must move forward and enjoy the anticipation for the next HASLAB, which whatever the hell is going to be, and I'm pretty excited to see how that's going to turn out. So the last comment we have here is Scorpion came out in 1991. I was 19 years old, says Russell. So no attachment with the figure. All good, man, but hopefully the classified one should do it some justice, so we'll see what happens. Joshua says 2 streams in 1 week. Yes, because I didn't forget, but like I didn't do a stream last week because I had some family errands to do, but I will definitely stream again later this week to talk about everything that's going to happen, hopefully tomorrow. But otherwise I do stream every week. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for joining in on this very slow episode of SHARKNEWZ Live. It sucks that the G.I. Joe team didn't really do much for week 3, but hopefully tomorrow we get something really exciting and it's going to be good. Otherwise, I'm going to be pissed. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys all for watching. I'll see you all in the next live stream in another day or two, so don't worry, we're not ending here till next week. So I'll see you guys in another day or two, and then we'll talk about everything that happens tomorrow in the video that they probably will upload. So for everyone that's in the chat, thank you guys so much for joining tonight's stream. For everybody that was watching but wasn't in the chat, thank you so much. For all you new subscribers, welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy all the videos that I do here, and thank you everyone for the support. I appreciate everything you guys do for the channel, and if you want to see other updates, I do have them on the post tab page, so stay tuned for that. So thank you guys again. I will see you all in another day or two, and we're going to talk about the HASLAB reveal in the next live stream, which will be probably Thursday or Friday, I don't know. But anyways, see you guys then. Take care, and I'll see you all in like 48 hours in the next live stream. Till then, let's see what the next HASLAB will be. So that's going to be, I'm very scared but excited. All right, I'll see you guys then. Take care, hug your loved ones, and YoJoe.